Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Des and today we are going to make a spread for my 2025 bingo board. You may have seen this trend of people making like bingo cards in the last month or so since the new year. And essentially what it is you make a bingo board with some things that you would like to do in 2025. Hi, Ruby. You gotta be up here? Okay. Come see. You wanna look out my window? I'm petting you. Yes, I am. You're gonna bonk your head. Okay, had to have a puppy break for a minute. So essentially, I'm going to draw out the boxes for my bingo card on here and write down all of the things that I chose. I made my original bingo card in Canva and I just used like a cute template, but I find that I'm never looking at it because I have to go into Canva to look at it or find the picture of it on my phone. And I think it would be nice to have in my journal for, like having a record of it in here as well, but also I think I will be more likely to look at it if it's in here. So yeah, I'm going to copy over the things that I chose. I'm going to draw out some boxes on here, and yeah, that's basically it. And then I will tell you about all of the things that I chose for my 2025 bingo card. Okay, so I've gone ahead and drawn out where my squares will go. Basically, I counted how many squares across and how many squares down I had, and then figured out how to fit 5 boxes within that. So this is going to be a 5 by 5 grid, and my boxes are going to be 6 by 6 squares. And then I kind of shifted everything into the middle of the page so that I will have room at the top to write like 2025 bingo board or bingo card. And I'm gonna go ahead and draw these boxes really quick. Okay, there's my grid, and if you want to follow along with me, and maybe you have a hobonichi cousin, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares down from the top left here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares up from the bottom. And then yeah, my boxes are 6 by 6 squares, and you can do this in any notebook you have or any planner. But yeah, if you want to follow along with me and make your own bingo card for 2025, maybe you can get some ideas from the things that I'm putting on mine. That could be really fun. And if you do follow along and make your own, I would love to hear some of the things that you put on yours. Like give us some inspiration in the comments. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is give ourselves a free space right in the center. So we automatically get 1 free space. And then the way that I decided what to put on mine was on just a blank piece of paper. I wrote down a bunch of ideas, and you do need 25 minus 1, so 24 things to put on your bingo board. And so I just wrote down a whole bunch and then went through and I put my favorite ones on first and kind of mixed them around on the board. So I didn't just go in order, basically. And then I went from my favorite ones, I put those on first and made it down to my lesser favorite options until I ran out of squares. And you can get a lot of ideas for this kind of stuff online. I got a bunch of ideas from people's Substack posts of their 2025 bingo boards or bingo cards. I don't really know if bingo card or board is right. Maybe they're both correct. But yeah, I just wrote down a huge list of ideas and then picked my favorites. One thing I did do was I didn't really want these to be super quantifiable, and that might seem like counterintuitive for goal setting, but I just want this to be really fun, and I would like to try and fill it by the end of the year. And I'm trying to set goals that are more like intentions. So instead of saying like, I want to read 10 nonfiction books, and maybe I read 9, I'm not going to complete it, but 9 would still be amazing for me to have read in a year. So instead of writing a number goal, I'm writing, I just want to read more nonfiction. So it's more of something to work towards and to constantly work on as well, because maybe I will read 10 and then I'll just stop. But, you know, if I just say more, then I'll just keep going if I'm enjoying it. Or maybe I'll read 5 or 6 and decide that that's more than previous years and I'm ready to be done with it. So it gives me a little bit more flexibility in these goals and deciding like what's working best for me. So my first square is to use my stickers. I even put an exclamation point on that one. So this one came out of me restarting my Sticky Club subscription last year. I think I restarted in the summer of last year, maybe like July or August. And I told myself that I could restart it as long as I was freely using the stickers instead of hoarding them. And I was doing really good with that for a few months, and then I started to fall off a little bit. Not because I wasn't wanting to use the stickers, but because I was having a hard time wanting to journal in general. So I was doing okay with that, but I really want to focus on that this year if I'm going to continue my Sticky Club subscription. And I'm kind of doing like an unofficial low-buy year. You'll see some more things on this board relating to that. But I am allowing myself to do the Sticky Club subscription every month, so if I'm not using them, I'm gonna cancel it. But as long as I'm using them, getting use out of it, you know, I'm gonna let myself continue using or getting Sticky Club every month, so that's a big one for me. Okay, this next one is to knit my first pair of socks. So this one came out of that I started knitting again in October of last year, and I started a pair of socks back in December, and I've been very slowly working on them. I'm like working on the heel right now of the first sock, and I'm scared that I will finish one sock and then never want to start the second one. So this one is telling me to finish the pair of socks. And socks is kind of like what made me want to start knitting in the first place. So this one is pretty important to me. This next one is trying new recipes. This one is maybe a little bit self-explanatory, but I feel like we kind of just been doing a lot of the same dinner recipes, which is fine to have like good go-tos, but I think it's really fun to cook and try new things. And I've also been getting the digital version of a food and cooking magazine from my library through Libby. And I would really like to try making a few things out of that. Some of them are like way too fancy for me, but I think it's a great place to get inspiration at the very least. And yeah, I'd like to try some new fun recipes. Okay, so this next one is to read more nonfiction. This is kind of what I used as the example. And I am doing okay on this. I'm currently listening to an audiobook. I'm almost done with it. It's called When the Earth Was Green by Riley Black, and it comes out on February 25th, I believe. So this video I think will be up by the time that it comes out. I have an advanced reading copy of it, or advanced listening copy, I guess, and the audiobook is so good. It's basically chronicling life on Earth from the very beginning, when life started in the depths of the ocean, all the way through the first plants, the first dinosaurs, the first animals, and the first humans. Like, it spans a huge amount of time, but it's also told in a very story-like structure. It's not info dumpy like or textbooky. So I highly recommend that one. The audiobook is great. And yeah, I'm actually almost done with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna keep trying more nonfiction this year. The next one is to repot plants. This one is almost a reminder for me that when spring comes around, I need to repot our houseplants. Some of them have not been repotted for a few years, and they're in desperate need of some fresh soil, and some of them need bigger pots as well. So yeah, this one's more of a reminder to me. Moving down to the second row is our next one, which is more library books. I put this one on here especially because we moved into a new house a couple of months ago, and we have an amazing, beautiful public library so close to our house. It is a 3-minute drive or bike ride and like a 15-minute walk. So I can't wait until the weather warms up and I can walk to the library. And it's seriously the most beautiful library. I'm so happy about it. So yeah, I would really like to have more library books, read more library books this year, which is also part of my unofficial low buy. So less buying books, more using the library. And this is going very well so far. I got my card set up to the library a couple of weeks ago and checked out 3 books while I was there, and I've finished one of them. I'm reading this one, which is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio, and I'm loving it. I love it so much so far. It's so fun. So this is going very well so far. This next one is like an adulting reminder, which is to find new dentist and doctor. Yeah, so since we moved, I would like to find a new dentist near us, and my doctor retired this year, so I also have to find a new doctor, which kind of sucks, but maybe being able to cross this off on this bingo board in my planner will make me actually get this done. This next one is more sewing. And specifically, I want to make one garment. So like one wearable thing. So I didn't do a ton of sewing in our previous home because it was a lot of like setup and takedown every day because I had to use my work desk. And so I never wanted to do it because I couldn't leave anything out. But now in this new house, I have much more desk space. I even have like a little desk that my sewing machine can be on 24/7, which is amazing. It's so much fun. I haven't used it yet because I'm still unpacking, but I would really like to do more sewing this year. And I have fabric and I've had this fabric for probably years at this point, to make a long tiered skirt. I have like a black checkered fabric, or like a black gingham, and I really, really, really want to make that skirt. So that's why this one is on here. The next one is get into a movement routine. So I did pretty well with this, especially at the beginning of last year, and then kind of fell off of it. And now that we've moved, I completely lost my movement routine. I would really like to start running again and doing the Peloton rides. We have a Peloton and I really want to use it. And yeah, we actually went for a run yesterday because the weather's been pretty nice here this weekend. So yeah, I would really like to get back into a movement routine of like having a few days a week that I do certain activities and then maybe fitting yoga on the days in between. So that's where I'd like to get with that. This next one is to go to knitting nights. So I got this idea because my library that's close by has fiber arts nights on Tuesdays, and then a yarn shop that's fairly close to me now has knitting nights on Wednesdays. And I put this on here because I think maybe I had gone to one knitting night and I really wanted to make it a part of my routine. And I've gone to like 4 or 5 now. So I'd say this is like pretty good into my routine so far. So I actually think this one might be, like I might be able to cross that one off now. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun going to those knitting nights. This next one is also knitting related, and it is to knit my bookworm. If you've watched previous videos of mine, I've talked about this a few times. I also have talked about making like a reading snake or a book snake, but I've settled on doing a bookworm. So essentially I'm going to knit like a tube and sew eyes onto it in the little face so that it looks like a worm. And then for each book that I read, I'm going to add stripes to the worm based on like the genre. The color will be determined by the genre of the book, and the number of rows is going to be determined by the number of pages in the book. And I still haven't started it. It is February, almost March, and I have not started this, so this is a good reminder to me that I should start that. The next one is to clean out my closet, and then I put seasonally. I think that adding this seasonally part to this will make it a little bit easier because I don't have to clean everything in my closet out. The idea is that like when I bring out my summer clothes, I should go through them and think about like what things I didn't wear last year. And you know, keep in mind that whatever I'm not wearing that I should probably get rid of. And I can also think about like the season that we're leaving. So like as we're leaving winter and going into spring, I can look back on my winter clothes before I put them away and say like, you know what, I didn't wear this sweater at all in the last 4 or 5 months. So I should probably think about getting rid of it. So I think that's going to be really, really helpful for me this year. And then yeah, our free space. And this next one is to do some puzzles. I've done a few puzzles in the last few years, and I always think they're so much fun, and it's really fun when I can get my husband to do them with me too, because it can just be something fun to do while like you're watching a show or whatever, listening to an audiobook. So I would like to get back into doing some puzzles this year. This next one is to read books you own. And I put an exclamation point on this one too. So this also kind of has to do with my unofficial low buy year, but I really want to make sure that I'm getting through the books that I already own. I have one shelf on my bookcase that is for books that I haven't read yet. And in the past, I've told myself, like, you can't add to the shelf unless there's room. So you have to read things off of the shelf in order to put new things onto the shelf. And I did a little birthday book haul at the end of last year and overfilled the shelf. So this is going to be a big focus this year, but not only for physical books, but also for audiobooks and ebooks that I have. I have a pretty good backlist, so I really want to focus on reading those this year. And honestly, between that and the library, I could see myself not really buying any books this year. I do like to buy one occasionally for like a little treat or reward, or like if I go on a trip and I go to a fun bookstore, I like to get a book as kind of a souvenir. So things like that are fine. But in general, I'd like to not really buy more books this year. Okay, now on to the fourth row. I put run a 5K and then I put a question mark after it on there. So I clearly wasn't very sure about that. But I would like to try and do this year. I would like to get back into running, and I think doing a 5K would be super fun. So yeah, I would like to do that this year. This next one I also put a question mark after, and that is to listen to CDs. And the reason I put a question mark after this was because this is something I really want to do, but I also don't own a CD player. So this would be kind of hard to accomplish if I don't own a CD player. But I've been thinking about getting one, and when I went to the library a few weeks ago, they have tons of CDs that you can check out. And that really solidified this for me, that I really do want to do this year. And I was recently given a Amazon gift card from work that I am considering using for a CD player, a little CD player. So hopefully I can do that one soon. This next one is more date nights. This is something that it's just good to be a little bit more intentional about. Even if it's just going out to get dinner, if we're being a little bit more intentional about it, then it makes it a little bit more special. Yeah, I would like to make this a focus this year. It's a good reminder. Oh, this next one, I'm gonna have to call myself out on because it's to use my 5-year journal. I had big plans for this. I even put an exclamation point after it. This is my 3rd year in this 5-year journal, and I've been extremely inconsistent with it the last 2 years, and I really wanted to make this the year that I get into it. And I haven't written in it once, and it is almost March. I'm not giving up hope because I can backfill it. I take really detailed notes in my daily log journal about what I'm doing every day, so it should be easy to backfill. But I have no excuses anymore. I got my ink color for the year figured out, and it's in a pen, and it's sitting next to my journal, so I just need to do it. Yeah. Oh man, this is what I really, really want to do, but I'm scared of it, so we'll see. Oh, this next one is to stay consistent with YouTube. So far, so good. I've been making mostly weekly videos for the last like January and February so far. I've been doing pretty good. And before the holidays last year, I was doing pretty good with this too. And it's really fun. And I don't mind like missing a week here and there, life happens, and YouTube is, just kind of a hobby for me. But I really enjoy it. So I would like to stay pretty consistent with it, but I'm not gonna like kick myself if I miss a week. But yeah, this is a good reminder for me this year. Oh, this next one, we shall see. This is to write more. I've always really enjoyed writing, but I find that I have like a pretty hard time with the creative side of it. So I did start a Substack this year. Maybe I will start adding it to my links on my videos. I've only written a couple of posts, but I really, really like Substack. I think the format is great, that it's basically like essays and blog posts from people, and it does have like a short form content component to it, kind of like Twitter, but I find that I don't really scroll on it very much, and I mostly go there for reading blog posts and essays and stuff. And I've posted a couple on there, and I would like to get into a little bit of a groove of like doing monthly reading wrap-ups and stuff on there. So that's kind of how I'm dipping my toe into this writing more. I would like to do some more creative writing as well, but we shall see. This next one is to write letters to my pen pals. This is something that I really slacked on in 2024, and I have a little pile of letters from my pen pals. I only have like 2 or 3 pen pals, but I have some letters that I need to respond to, and I would really like to get into better rhythm with replying to my pen pals and corresponding with my pen pals. And also my best friend moved a couple of states away this year, so I would like to start writing letters to her as well. This next one is also a kind of a part of my unofficial low buy year, and that is to make intentional clothing purchases. I think I've only bought one thing so far, and that was a sweater that I basically got it to replace a sweater that I loved that got some holes in it. And I've been wearing it a ton already, so I feel pretty good about that purchase. But yeah, I don't want to just add a bunch of things to my closet this year. I did a fair bit of that last year, and I would like to just, make some very smart decisions about getting things that I know that I need and I will wear a lot. So yeah. This next one is to try birding. So I've kind of already tried birding a little bit. When we went to New York last year in August, we did like a birding tour of Central Park, and it was amazing. It was so much fun and I loved it. And I would like to, go on little outings with the intention of birding. I kind of now just notice birds when I'm out and about, but I would like to get some binoculars and make it a little bit more intentional this year. And this new neighborhood that we are in has amazing walking paths and like a lake and river, basically, super close by us. And I think it's going to be the perfect place for birding. So I'm really excited about this one. This last one is to start a Zettelkasten. So if you don't know what a Zettelkasten is, it's essentially like a note card system for collecting thoughts and ideas. I got super obsessed with these last month in January, and I bought note cards, but now I can't decide if I want my system to be digital or physical or some combination of both. Whether it's a physical or a digital version of this that I make, I'm gonna count either. The idea is that I just want a central place to collect my thoughts and quotes and ideas and things like that. I'm kind of playing with building one. I originally played with this idea in Notion, but I just started using a new app called Capacities. I mentioned it last week, but I'm using it mostly for my book notes and quotes and things like that. And I'm playing with adding like a Zettelkasten component to that. because I think that that app is really well suited to this. It kind of combines Notion and Obsidian, if you're familiar with both of those. It has objects that you can put attributes on and everything and connect in various ways like you would in Obsidian, and you can build like the graph maps to see the connections between things, and it has a global tag system too, which is really handy. So I'm playing with that right now, and I think that that could be a really good use for capacities. But if I start this system in the future, I will probably make a video for you on that. So yeah, that is my bingo board for 2025. I would like to add a title on here too, so let me find a fun color. Okay, I've picked out some fun mild liners to do this with. This pink one is fuchsia, and this purple one I think is violet. This one's in Japanese, I think, so I can't fully read that one. But these are zebra mild liners, and I get mine at Michael's. They sell them individually, so it's really handy. But I will use one to write the title, and then I'll use the other to highlight the boxes. I think I'm going to use pink for the title, and I would like it to look really cute, but also I'm a little bit lazy, so we're just going to go for it. And I'm going to say bingo board instead of bingo card, just because I think it fills the space better, and I like the alliteration of these both having B's. And then maybe I will also fill in the spaces with some like stars and stuff. And I can do that with the purple as well. That makes it look a little bit cuter. And then, let's see, I don't have anything written on the other side, and these look like they're bleeding a teeny bit, but I'm not going to go back and refill this page, so I'm not going to worry about the bleeding. But let's start with crossing off our free space. Nice. I'm also going to cross off go to knitting nights because I have gone to a handful of them and I don't plan to stop. I think the other ones I'm just going to leave for now because I still want to work on them. Even though some of them I've kind of started doing, I would like to keep them on there so that I keep working on them. So there is my finished 2025 bingo board. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for watching to the end. If you are also making a 2025 bingo board, I would love to hear some of the things that are on your board for 2025. So definitely let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.